Welcome back to Business AM. You are still watching Metropole Television. Hashtag is Business AM, and you do know what to do. Any question or any contribution that you may have, you can send it right into the studio 2146. Let's therefore move into an area that everybody knows has been widely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and which we also were expecting to get some sort of reprieve from the president's address yesterday. Now, the hospitality industry has been one of the most affected during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, looking at the visitor arrivals into the country, the first quarter of 2019 recorded a surge, which started off very well, went under, but then picked up again in the second quarter. All the way lows and highs respectively in the quarters 3 and 4. Now, come year 2020, it started off very well with a surge in the first quarter, but then the COVID-19 pandemic struck and the industry went into a heave of unimaginable losses. But today, we look at reviving and survival of the industry amid the pandemic and any future risks. Now, joining me in the studio this morning on Business AM, we do have the General Manager, Movenpick Hotel, Mehdi Morad. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Happy to see you. All right, let's look at the industry, the hospitality industry state in the country right now. How would you put it on a general view?
Dire would be the word. I think, we've been hit strongly. We were the first industry to be hit. It's all about traveling. It's all about visitors. It's all about welcoming and social distanciation and all the measures that all against traveling, all against welcoming. So obviously we've been affected. Plus, Kenya is very dependent on international business, either it is for business purposes or for leisure. Our visitors are international. So no, very, very difficult situation for the hospitality, and a lot of major or small actors are really suffering big time.
Pretty much, therefore, Mehdi, I gotta ask you this, therefore. I know yesterday you did watch the presidential address. Do you think probably now, out of the areas that touched your industry, you will say probably maybe in the next coming days, you move away from dire to something different?
No, the only change for hospitality yesterday was only the reintroduction of alcohol in the restaurant and 1 hour. That's definitely for the restaurant will be it's good news, because closing at 7, serving the last guest at 7 was removing all one service, which is the dinner. Now up to 8 is already a bit better, but no, it's not going to change the whole perspective of the industry, because the issue is still the traveling. And as much as the flights leave here pretty much busy, when they come into the country, they come pretty much with low occupancy. So sadly, no, the curfew, as long as you see, having a curfew in the country plus having these restrictions doesn't really encourage people to start to come from the internet. You start to see maybe we have 10 leisure guests that are coming into the country per week now. No, it's definitely far from what we need.
All right, Mehdi, just to go back on the situation that you said, dire. Can you talk to me about what you've seen as a direct effect on a Movenpick Hotel?
On the Movenpick Hotel, like all other hotels, we having most of our staff still on unpaid leave, and waiting for a resumption of business to bring them back. Cash flow is a big difficulty for all the people, obviously. And, it's a chain. If you are in difficulty in cash flow, then your partners, your suppliers, your clients, everybody in the same situation. So, and the question is, when the business will the business resume? To a level that sustains the salaries and all the costs. And that's our biggest issue. You see also your people that you've been working with all the time not being able to come to work. We managed to get them something. We have we have a fund from France that helped us, which is part of because Movenpick is part of Accor. We've been able to caution our people with 10,000 shillings a month while staying at home until August. But we don't know until when this fund be available, because it's a worldwide fund. But today, no, difficulty is really the people and the effect on the people and their livelihood.
Yes. Mehdi, I know you're trying to get back to business as usual, and you have also introduced an All Safe program. Talk to us about that. What have you put in place? Because there's this special focus now on your industry, on what you're going to do just to promote this confidence from your clients that yes, we can go in there and pretty much come out safe as usual.
All Safe is a program that has been launched globally by Accor, because All stands for Accor Live Limitless initially. So All Safe is a I would say, 108 pages of measures, all about safety and security for our guests. And it starts from the booking. You know, when you're booking today, when you come into the hotel, we don't ask you anymore to come and do a check-in. We ask you prior to your arrival to send us a scan of your passport. You send us the information, you fill in a form. By the time you come, your key is sanitized and ready for you. So you don't have that interaction. It is a lot of measures also of social distanciation. It's about 1.5 meters between you and the next person. It is about plexiglass. Sadly, you know, hospitality was always about welcoming. So Allsafe is also how you would still make the people feel welcome without having the usual interaction. It is about if somebody doesn't send the information in advance, you turn the passport scan and now it's turned towards the guest. It's the guest who scans his own passport, then comes into the room. It's the sanitization, is how often you see every room that checks out, we try to leave it for the moment occupancy allows it 48 hours before reusing it for the next guest and so on and so on. And it's also about the preparation of food, but it is also about partnerships with global partners like AXA, you know, the insurance and the healthcare AXA. So every guest that is staying with us, if he's having any symptoms, if he needs any advice on his health, there's a direct line that is free for the guest, and so on and so on. So there's a lot of, and use it's also very visual, asking people to keep the distanciation. And it incorporates also, I mean, the minimum for Allsafe in every country is to incorporate whatever the local measures from the local government is dictated. So in Kenya, we have also very strong measures from the Ministry of Health also. And they totally all fit within the Allsafe, and Allsafe bring additional points that Accor has been working on globally.
Pretty much. So can you talk to us about the effect that these measures have already had on your business? Would you say that they've changed the outlook that your clients have towards Movenpick?
You see, today the guest, the expectation, the minimum expectation is to have strong safety measures when they're coming into a hotel, especially with the COVID situation. So yeah, definitely guests are giving us very, very good feedback on that. It's very visual. It's also helped us in the communication because Accor launched globally a campaign about Allsafe, and we also in Movenpick Hotel launched also our own campaign. It was, let's call it was the restart of our business. When we moved from almost no guests, as we opened our restaurants and so on, that's where Allsafe came in place. And really, yeah, I guess the guests, you know, it's already, I'm certainly, you heard about it before speaking with me, you've seen it somewhere, and that's the great thing about it, yeah. And we have to bring back the business to that level and to that rating hopefully soon.
Pretty much. All right. Now, what business recovery strategies have you put in place to ensure that you're up and running to recover from the pandemic losses? And already we've seen headlines in this area as well. You have taken the blunt of the COVID-19 pandemic. We've seen headlines of some of the business of bigger hotels closing up and with no sort of indications to come back to businesses. For you now, you're still in business. You've introduced this Allsafe program. What extra measures have you put in place that are going to get you back into business?
Well, what helped us also is that in Movenpick we never closed. We took that decision with the owners of the hotels and said, okay, we'll bite the bullet. That you close or that you're open, that you remain open, you make losses anyway during this period. But we decided that they remain open. Our guests, our regular guests, had still that option of coming and staying with us because we have also apartments and rooms. And I think it's paying off today because we never closed, so we were ready. So when Allsafe came, we were one of the pilots of the hotels because we were, you know, back then Accor globally had closed 75% of his hotels in the world because that was what was happening. So we also supported in there. So that made us also at the front line with our guests. Plus, we knew quickly that only the local market would be there. And, you know, we are a business hotel in the middle of the city. But we said, okay, you know what? Let us try. I'm sure we can do. We were sure we could become also a place for staycation. And people were tired of their homes. So we launched the staycation program with East African rate. Initially, it was only Kenyans enjoying it. Now we have a bit more visitors from abroad also. So that helped us a lot. It was $110, breakfast included, with the discounts, 15% on the view, the restaurant. And that attracted people for us. And now we start to see Kenyans from Nairobi coming to spend the weekend, a night, celebrating something. Last week was very pleasant. Somebody took the restaurant, privatized it, to have, he asked his fiancée in marriage. And then what we went next, we kept going. We had to find new ways. So we started also to turn our rooms into offices. So if you want an office, a day office, not every day because you work from home, we all work from home, but you have that day where you have that big meeting important and you don't want to be disturbed by the kids or whatever. So you take that room and you have it as an office. And that's also working very well.
Yes. Mary, I want to get your sentiments on this. Are we beyond that time for meetings in hotels? And if that is gone, I mean, everybody's going digital, what are you doing with that aspect? Because beyond the COVID-19 pandemic, we still have to address this area for meetings and gatherings in hotels.
You see, we've seen demand for meetings all the way through. And only we were saying, reminding everybody, no, you cannot meet more than 15 people because there's a restriction on that and so on and so on and so on. I do believe, as much as we went digital, I would prefer to be sitting with you today in the studio instead of sitting here because it's not convenient, it's not ideal. People will go back to it. Not necessarily immediately, not to the same level it used to be, but you still have these meetings will happen. And to be frank, we have big meeting rooms. We have the biggest meeting rooms of the city. So we are the first affected. We used to do up to 1,500 people in a meeting. Definitely we'll never see these numbers, not on the next 3 years until a vaccine is found and so on and so on. Though, having these big meeting rooms, so basically we'll be certainly the only one being able to accommodate today 500 people with the social distanciation because we have these big meeting rooms. No, meetings will come back less frequently. People will work from home more, less from the offices. But they will meet. You need to meet, and the physical approach, the face-to-face, the being into the room. Because one thing you cannot build on, if you want to build team building, you cannot do a team building on Zoom. That was never going to work. And that's and the bonding and so on. So hopefully it will come. It is also about the hotels, how we adapt to our offering. Our offering is not anymore, if we are to go to buffets, because you will go at a certain moment where you have the volumes, but nobody has to serve himself. You have to serve everybody. It's an adaptation. It is a change, but it's possible.
Pretty much. All right. Now, Mehdi, talk to me about any optimism that you have for a turnaround in this industry. And what is your projection? When do you think that we're going to start seeing a turnaround in the hotel industry?
You see, there are two levels. The first level would be, when do we just break even? It would be good enough, at least not to keep losing money for all the properties and all the partners and so on. And I believe this we can see any time towards Q1 2021, hopefully. We are really optimistic about that. I mean, this year is certainly gone by the time you resume the flights, by the time you resume the trips and so on. But the next is coming. I mean, this industry suffered from everything.
Yes, Mehdi, just to chime in there, do you think that you're being overly optimistic when you say, well, Q1 of 2021, but if you're saying that this year is pretty much done, then when we're saying that even next year in the first quarter, people will be pretty much looking around saying, when we get back?
No, again, as I said, it's not about going back to where we were. It's just about breaking even and not to lose.
Yes.
And then I'm saying the Q1 would be a good start. If we manage to reach that, we'll be already happy with that. Then the year 2021 will be anywhere between minus 30% to minus 50% to what 2019 was. That's our projection, at least our perception of the industry for the moment. So it is not going to be a good year. But I mean, when you leave 2020, if you compare to it, you'll be happy. That's the point. You have to be optimistic. Our industry has been suffering from wars, from pandemics, from terrorism, from everything, from economic. But it always bounced back. And that's where the optimism is. We always for our people. We are a big employer in the country. The industry is one of the biggest employers. So we owe it to our people. We have to push for that direction.
Oh, pretty much, which actually takes me then to my next question for you this morning, Mehdi. I mean, other than the pandemic, and Kenya has been put on the spot as one of those good emerging markets, as your top tourism destinations, what other things would you see get done properly?
You mean what needs to be done properly?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's very simple. We need the politics also you see, we just did, Kenya has just had the label yesterday for safe travel. As the first country, it is also what Kenya has been lacking all the way for tourism. It was communication. I mean, we've been addressing that with the CS so many times, and he knows it. But it's not between his hands because you have another body that is coming into play, and all the partners has really to work hard. If they think that they will go back to what they were in 2019, then forget. We will be even in a more dire situation. So Kenya has a lot to offer. We are safe. We are a safe country. We did a lot for the pandemic. We took the pandemic. We did a lot also for securing the country. We had terrorism risks before and so on. It is how we communicate it today. It's not important how good you are if you don't communicate it properly. That's one thing. And obviously, we need support from the government. They cannot come back. The VAT now is on 14%, but who pays VAT when you don't have revenues? So what do they give us next? What are the stimulus? What is the support? And that really will be key in the next year. And also the international partners, obviously, they have to support Kenya, they have to support Africa. You can't leave us just to grow back to our own, otherwise it would take us years, and that's a problem.
Yes, Mary, we are seeing a lot of service providers in the hospitality sector now look to domestic tourism to bring in revenue on the back of the dwindling international tourist numbers. What are you doing on this front?
I mean, again, as I said at the beginning, we launched staycation. As a hotel in the city, you don't have much to do because you're in Nairobi. So except people visiting Nairobi on the weekend, now that the lockdown has been lifted, you don't get much. But as Accor, we have other properties in Mara, we have a property in Mount Kenya, and there we're reinventing totally the experience. The hotels are closed for the moment because the people are not traveling enough. But by the time we open, we're now in the Fairmont Mount Kenya Safari Club. We're proposing a whole rejuvenation of the offering. We're renovating the hotel, plus we're implementing a lot of activities that are dedicated to the Kenyan market that people will like. You know, the Kenyan market is more of a family market, and Mount Kenya Safari Club is an amazing place for that. I'm sure you know it. But you also have the couples. So it's how do you combine these and provide proper offerings for that?
Pretty much. All right, as we clear this conversation, Mary, I know you're talking that yes, 2021 quarter one is going to be about cutting even, do not lose. So do we expect to see any expansion strategy from your end?
I mean, yeah, surprisingly enough, you know, Accor has two properties under development, the M Gallery in Gigiri and the Pullman. Obviously, they've been delayed by the pandemic. We were planning to open Pullman this year. That's been delayed by 1 year. Let's say M Gallery, Gigiri was supposed to open end of 2021. It will open early 2022. But you'll be surprised because in my role, I'm not only the general manager of the Movement, but also the country general manager for Accor. The number of people, of investors that reach out to me still today, showing interest into investing in hospitality, which is great to see.
Pretty much.
Resilience is one of our strengths. It's always been.
All right, Mary, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. It was lovely talking to you, sir.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye.
All right. Now we take a short break here on Business. And once we come back, though, let's look at what major headlines that you're waking up to this morning on our Economic Review. Good morning.